Ladies and gentlemen, apologies as there was a small glitch at our end. We're facing a thunderstorm here in Nepal for the last 3 days, and that sometimes lead to the internet to get conked off. Nevertheless, we are back. It's me, Project Gambhir, again here with Akshay Kapoor, and we're going to show you the live action on the table. Nothing much has changed. We maybe only lost a couple of hands with the thunderstorm. We still have the same 8 players for you.
Rajit, thunderstorms are so bad here in Nepal that yesterday when I was going to my hotel, we saw a tree fallen down on a road, so we have to take a detour.
Correct.
And it wasn't a likely detour that I would like to take again.
Where's 1600 to call.
There we have it. For those of you who are joining us right now, this is the India Poker Championship feature table from day 1B of the main event. It's a 60,000 rupee buy-in tournament and a 40,000 chip starting stack.
Fold.
We are just updating the chip counts, and as soon as we're done with that, we're going to be showing you all the graphics on the table. Till then, we will be watching the players play blind just as you are.
Well, that is the beauty of this game. Also, that I see that the blinds have gone up. They're playing 300, 500 with a big blind entry of 500.
अच्छा नहीं हो अच्छा फोल्ड रहा लेकिन अगर एक्शन थोड़ा अलग होता ना बहुत ज़्यादा यार उसने इतना बड़ा स्क्रीन पे कैसे डाला 4.5
सर आप स्माइल मत करो आप बहुत क्यूट लगते हो मुझे आपका डेंजरस लुक अच्छा लगता है
बसंती
डेंजरस लुक
बसंती नर्स
We see Minisha flirt a little bit with Anand Thakur a little bit, keeping the banter on the table.
Yeah.
$2,100 to call.
A bet therein on the flop from Minisha worth 2,100, and then she takes it down.
I actually wanted to chill that side with everyone and play around and all, but they put me because yeah, I'm going to tell them. I'm not going to sit for more than
Big.
but the thing is yesterday's table and today's table, it's like Japan and America.
So small
Hi,
blind 300s.
KP. Guys, everyone, that's KP for the stream.
Fold.
For the stream, we'd like to introduce Kunal Patni. Minisha is
500 to call, man.
talking to Kunal Patni there in the background, who has maybe come to
sure the camera has
rail
gone
somebody
to
here.
Fold.
Right now, yeah.
Fold.
Guys, that's Kunal Patni.
500 to call, sir.
Focus.
1 second, there's a badge.
Fold.
I'm going to write an email. But still, you're
Call
representing
500.
He's chilling today. He's
Fold.
bagged a lot of
Big
chips.
blind option.
He's bagged a lot of
So,
chips. How many big sales around? 30?
68.
40?
Heads up.
I thought you were...
There we
How
have
many
it.
hours did the play go on through?
Kunal Patni, guys, already bagged a very big stack
500
on
bad
day
fold.
1A. He was very proud that that he's made day 2 by just firing 1 bullet for the main and high roller.
Patni, even we hope to bang his head. So, Boss, how will you play? Because of Wi-Fi out here. But if you reach day 2, you'll have to play like main event. I mean, day 2 tomorrow and. Oh, smart man.
So I'm going to actually borrow a hotspot.
No, best is ask them to get you a SIM card quickly.
I don't
Better.
remove my old SIM card, put one more.
You better, because if you have you made it to day 2 of NBOSS? Then it's fine. I was saying if you made it to day 2.
500 to call, ma'am.
Action on Minisha with her 7 deuce, and she folds it.
Fold. Fold. Call 500.
Anand on the button.
I think after
नहीं, नहीं।
4 levels.
बहुत टाइम है अभी। एक घंटे के ऊपर है।
Raise
बट आप उठ के जा
2200.
सकते हो हाँ, अगर से। मैं तो I'm going to go now.
2200 to call. Fold. 2200 to call. Fold.
मैं मुझे फोन कॉल भी करना है ये भी करना है।
Fold.
Starting the ball now. अरे service still hasn't gone now.
Deja
I'm
vu.
hungry.
डेजावू परत असं वाटतंय परत झालं डेजावू ना ते असतं ना काल पण हे आज पण हे काल तिकडे आज इकडे
सुनिए director साहब. I'll have to go to higher authority for this now.
व्हाट डू यू वांट
Service.
ओके कॉल फॉर सर्विस
300. Ma'am, 500.
Oh
NT.
sorry. मैंने भी ठाकुर जी की trick की है. Anti मत डालो.
Who Thakur ji is on the table, Praji? Do you know?
मुझे
Yeah,
Who is it?
that's Anand Thakur.
Made it very easy for you.
There we have
Got Arjun Veer
500
Singh,
to call. Fold.
Sanat Malhotra, Ali in the background, Abhinav Iyer,
Fold.
Abhishek Jalan.
Call.
There you see it. This is the feature table of India Poker Championship Megastacks. And with that, Amit just calls 500 and Mr. Thakur, Thakur ji as he's been called, picks up aces.
100 more.
Big blind से double होना चाहिए.
नहीं 100 देना पड़ेगा minimum.
आप चाहते हो तो उसमें से
You know
और
all this in the stream is going to be so
1000.
funny.
Raise 1000.
All this in the stream is going to
Raises
be hilarious.
it to 1000 and Pranit on the dealer button, waking up with pocket kings. I think we're going to see the end of Pranit here if things go how they're supposed to go. He's raised to 3500.
3500 to call.
Now Anand Thakur in his mind must just be enjoying himself.
नहीं I knew I was holding this. It was Junkola.
ये खांसी सबको हो रही है
3500
लग
to
रहा है
call. Hold.
Amit has 3000 more to call and he just puts it down.
Okay.
And now Anand, we've seen him play pocket tens very deceptively back in the day, back in time. But listen, now he's picked up pocket aces. It's just an extremely strong
But 1100,
hand,
yeah,
and he
then
has
that's
raised to 1000, and now he's been re-raised to 3500,
Call
and he just makes a
3500.
call here, playing it deceptively
Heads up.
out of position. He could have played it for stacks here if he'd known Pranit has pocket kings. 10-6-6, extremely safe board for both players. Aces and kings. Aces still ahead, way ahead.
Pranit might think that he has the best hand here
100%
because
of the times
Anand had just flat called him.
with his aces. Wow.
And before the start of the hand, Anand only min raised it after facing a limb and then just calling Pranit's 3-bet.
Yeah, and now he's leading out with a bet of 6,000 into 8,800. And in my opinion, Pranit, if he puts Anand on something like a 10x sort of a hand, he's definitely going to go for a raise sometimes. But it depends on what he's contemplating.
I mean, he can put Anand
And
on
he
pocket
has-
jacks,
he has
pocket
raised
queens.
I mean, even with jacks and queens, he'd
70,000,
know that
sir.
he may just be raising. He's raised to 17,000.
All in
He's
here,
gone all in
all
on a
in
call,
call.
and that's exactly, it's going to be bad news for
And
Both the
he's
players
just
and-
waiting for his hand
Oh
to
my
be
god,
shown.
look at that. That is just bad news for Pranit, and Thakur Ji is going to build up a big stack unless Pranit spikes a king on the turn of the river.
Just put like a spade on the turn, maybe give Pranit more outs.
चलो ठीक है मैं वायर करवाता हूँ
10 again, of no help. A king and a king only, 2 red cards can help. A queen there, no worries. And with that, Anand Thakur has gone upwards of 100,000 in terms of his chip stack. Aces versus kings.
Okay, guys, can I?
We have a first elimination from our feature table.
56,500.
How many?
So what I was saying, guys, so when we do this, right, all this, when it goes on the stream,
37.
it sounds very bad. And so when we talk, people can't hear
38
it.
900.
So I know it's
I
tough
can't
to
do it.
this, yeah. So we should try, yeah, and avoid doing this.
Siddhu.
Manisha wants to be heard on the stream, guys. She's just making sure her voice is heard.
Charge my phone.
Something that is so against their nature to do, you know, of course it's difficult.
iPhone.
और एक और चीज़ मैंने खाने के लिए इतनी बार बोला अब ये स्पार्टन वाले बहुत बुरे लगेंगे स्क्रीन पे इतनी बार बोला है और आप यू नो कि आप लड़की को खाना भी नहीं खिला रहे
Service. Today.
बदनाम हो जाओगे आप
Today.
दिस इज ऑल ऑन द स्ट्रीम
Manisha trying a level best that she gets the celebrity treatment that she deserves on the on the featured table, Prajit. Any thoughts?
when you I mean I was
It's only fair the lady is hungry.
as you're going out the deal goes seat open and you're like those are crushing words to hear
500 to call.
Now with that, there is actually a seat open on this feature table, and we will soon be filling up that seat to make it 800 again. Currently, we're down to 7 players as we just saw Pranit Aggarwal busted out. Kings versus Aces, just bad luck there.
no, but I didn't ask them what I
Just a
wanted.
setup hand, Prajit.
Someone else
She's coming soon.
क्रू के लिए आया है
So आ रहा है.
बच्ची के लिए नहीं आया
आ रहा है.
Ma'am, 500 to call.
500
Yes,
मतलब
Amit just calling there from hijack. Anand also limping behind with 500. Vivek Karwa on the button trying to spike a 6,
5-way.
just like Manisha did a while ago. Putting in 500. Manisha coming in with her queen 5 and Sanjay just checking it down. We're going 5 ways to the flop and there is a 6 on this board.
Two
And
pair
there's
for
a 2
Amit.
pair for Amit and 6s for Vivek.
Sanjay has a straight draw.
Absolutely. There's
Manisha
a
has a
bunch
middle
happening.
pair.
Wow. And Anand also has a gut shot straight draw there.
Talk about action flop, guys. Talk about action flop. Every player that we see on our screen has hit in one way or the other. And we are going to see some fireworks.
Yeah, Amit just called. Vivek just called the 2500. He doesn't want to overplay because he knows somebody could. It's a limp pot, right? And you never want to overplay your hand in a limp pot because somebody could easily have a straight here. There are multiple straights possible, right? There's a lower straight. There's a straight with 4 and 8, and there's a straight with 8 and 9 as well. Now that king is an absolutely disconnected card with this particular board. So if 6s were good then, they're still good now. And Amit just playing very, very aggressively, and this is very good news for Vivek. Mr. Thakur out of that pot, and it's between Amit and Vivek now. Look at Vivek
Raise.
raising it up.
I was really hoping that Vivek would have raised here, facing a bet by
And
Amit,
it's a
building the pot up.
huge raise to 35,000. I mean, he's literally gone all in. He's just kept 5,000 chips behind, and he has called Amit all in there. Now, Amit has a decision on his mind whether he wants to play for his entire chips there because he has 2 pair. He also understands there are 3 different straights that beat him at this point in time. There are a couple of better 2 pairs that beat him as well. There are sets in this limp pot as well. I mean, there's a bunch of hands that Amit is beat by at this point in time. The question is whether he wants to call all in because he's going to have to call 30,000 more. He only has 31,000 chips left behind, so it's virtually an all in for him. Massive amount of pressure applied by Vivek there, showing a lot of strength. Amit needs to understand, does Vivek have any bluffs here in this spot?
I think Vivek has just made a bit easy for Amit to fold here because, as you said, Vivek can have a lot of straights here, a lot of sets, and better 2 pairs. He's never betting ace-7 here. If I'm Amit, I'm finding this fold considering that Vivek in his line has no bluffs.
Yeah.
He's never betting ace-7 like this.
Yeah.
So I believe this raise size that...
And he makes the call.
Oh, wow. And
He
it's going
has
to get a
gone
snap
all
call
in.
by
It's an
Vivek.
easy decision. He's drawing dead at this point in time. Vivek is miles ahead. And
Drawing dead. Dead. मैं बोला सेड्रिक हाँ hard luck, yeah. That's very hard luck.
well, with that, Our man Vivek has moved up to 86,600 chips, and we're down to 6 players on the table. With that, we've also lost Amit along with Pranit from this table, and we will fill up these empty chairs for you to bring in 800 play.
25 400.
I put मेरे को तो उसका इतना बड़ा मोटा बेट में तो लग गया था.
उधर बताना पड़ता है ना सर.
But you're not. I mean, 5-6 very difficult to fold that. But पता नहीं.
Hard cool out there.
I'm gonna disagree with Siddhant there, telling that it's really hard to fold 5-6. I believe if you're facing a raise, when Vivek puts you all in on the turn, he's gonna show up with the nuts 99% of the times, and you always have better hands to call in your range. So yeah, I'm gonna disagree with you there, Siddhant.
No, you put your chips.
But really happy that we see Vivek having a big stack, having a stack that he can bully other players now. He's got two semi-professional players on the table.
7-8 तो nuts थे ना flop. 7-8, 5-6, 7-8 हो.
I know. I'm sorry. But जब आप stream सुनोगे ना, catch, catch, catch. It is so irritating for the viewer to hear. You know.
Guys, we're 6 players. So, कोई players आ रहे?
Floor trying to get us two new players to fill up the empty seats that we see on our screens.
Bhau, players आ रहे क्या? Any more?
Minisha on the button.
Siddhu, players? Any more players?
60 big blinds to play with.
Where's 2100?
Raising it big to 2,100. The blinds are 300, 500 with the 500 big blind ante, and she has raised it to 2,100. Now Sanjay on the small blind with ace 10.
It can't be given any credibility. It can't be given any credibility.
Re-raise 6,600.
Sanjay smelling it out. He's got his hooks in, he's got the reads going, he knows that it's a button open and Minisha could be really, really wide. He re-raises it to 6,600, 3x from the small blind. Of the huge open that Minisha had, she went more than 4 big blinds there. Obviously, it's going to be very difficult for her to continue with her jack 4.
मुझे
सर आपके लिए सिर्फ आपके लिए बिग फोल्ड. ये आपका पहला ओपन है. ओपन भी नहीं 3 bet.
Well, she's making brilliant use of her acting skills there. She's saying ikka to obvious hai, but of course Sanjay is going to see this on the stream and know for a fact it was jack 4.
कोई शक नहीं.
Give this woman an Oscar for making it look like folding a very big hand, telling the table, look, I'm folding because this is the first hand you are playing. Oh my God, I'm really impressed here by the acting skills, the poker skills. Like I didn't put Minisha to open jack 4 off, and then she is telling the opponents to see on the screen.
Nor do I want to tell the truth.
Well, that's a brilliant line. I may just pick it up from her. She said she doesn't want to lie and she also doesn't want to tell the truth. And there we have Raghav Bansal there. Anuj Yadav on the left, Raghav Bansal right straight up. As you can see there.
Sir, 300.
It seems like Raghav has quite a big stack out there hiding behind his
doubt
hands.
that.
एक येलो भी दे दो यार. दोस्ती यार येलो येलो.
Ma'am, 500
What is
score.
happening to our two players?
Fold. Raise 1200. 1200 to go.
The problem is because our blinds are much faster. In a
ले ही
cash
रहे हो
game,
मेरे
yes, but
मेरे
in
chips
a
ही ले रहे हो आप.
we lead much faster compared
Here we have Sanjay involving himself from the button with the king 3. And Vineet calls
विनीत भाई का कॉल आ गया.
with jack 10 from the small blind. Siddhant with the 10-7. Daniel Negreanu's favorite hand, and he's also a fan of Daniel Negreanu. He's mentioned yesterday that he had a dream of being on the same table with Daniel Negreanu and maybe beating him in table banter and chit-chatting a lot more than what he does. Makes that call.
Three-way.
He has just made the call so that in case Daniel Negreanu watches this stream one day, he knows that Siddhant has defended his favorite hand from the big blind.
And there is a 2-pair for Siddhant. Look at that. His expressions didn't change one bit.
Check.
There's a second pair for Vineet, 2-pair for Siddhant, and a top pair for Sanjay. This is an action board. I mean, we're seeing some massive action on this table. 1400 by Sanjay with his top pair. Vineet.
We have a new player on the table as well. We'll get the details very soon so that we could introduce him to the people watching this live stream.
Yes. Raise 3000.
And now there's a raise by Vineet
3000.
Kumar to 3000.
Call
And Siddhant
3000.
quickly calling 3000 with his 2-pair. Now that puts Sanjay in a very tough spot with his king 3. He knows he has the top pair with a backdoor flush draw, but his kicker isn't always good with the 3 there. And it's gone. He's got
My bad.
Check. Check.
ace. On the turn,
Check round.
it puts in another club on the board. Vineet also has the 10 of clubs, but listen, somebody must be scared to see that club. And another club comes in, all 3 of them checked. Very surprising there. And now it's a 4-card flush board, and Vineet has locked it in with the 10 of clubs.
Check.
And now it's very difficult for Siddhant to put in a bet. If he put in a bet on the turn, that maybe have done the trick for him, if it was a sizable bet.
Check.
But here, it's very difficult for Siddhant.
Check round. First showdown, sir. 10.
क्या कॉल कर रहे हैं कैसा लग गया है ये देखो रिवर देखो यार
They're all talking about the run out there. And Vineet, a happy man, he basically raised the turn, but he got calls. And then raised the flop, got calls. The turn luckily went checked throughout. And then the river was such a card that betting there would have been a very difficult way forward. And Vineet had the 10 of clubs, the only person with the club. There, look at that. That's JD Bhaiya on the left. And on his left and towards the right of this screen is Nikita Luther. You all saw her on the final table of the high roller yesterday. She's playing the day 1B of the main event today. Hopefully trying to make another deep run.
Yeah, for sure. We have seen her run deep in both the events. She's on a hot streak. I gotta bring a bit more attention to the last hand. I was a bit surprised with how Siddhant played his 2-pair.
Yeah.
He had 10-7 on a King 10-7 board, and he's blocking King 10 and King 7 for the small blind. So I was really shocked to actually see
He could
him
have raised
just
the flop.
100%. Like you have to, because it's a board that has a lot of draws, has straight draws and flush draws. So he needs to protect his hand, because on the turn he's not gonna be able to bet because there are so many hands, so many cards that's gonna come on the turn which will kill his action. So I was honestly a bit surprised that I just saw him flat calling a raise.
नहीं मेरा फोल्ड ही है वैसे
हो जाएगा आपका टर्न 500, sir.
Vineet on the button with 9-7.
Raise 1000.
Raises to 2 big blinds, 1000. We have a new player on the table. We will soon let you know who that player is.
Sir, button, sir.
Vineet takes it down. Easy.
How many players registered yesterday for this?
There we have Wasim playing a big role in the overall event, organizing it also.
The
Closely
big boss.
associated, yeah, the big boss, closely associated with the Spartan Poker room at Big Daddy in Goa.
He looks after the live events that happen in Goa.
Fold. Ma'am, 500 to call.
Minisha finally getting a service attendant to listen to her and handing over some food. I'm sure she's in a much better mood now.
Hopefully.
King Jack
Call 500.
just limping in.
Vineet is a fun player, Prajit. Like we've seen him raise 9-7 often, and now he
Oh
just
no, there's a
flats King Jack
confusion
off.
on the table where he's saying it's been because when you put in a chip on the table and you don't call out a raise, it's considered as just a call.
Yeah.
And the dealer did not hear they raised to 1,000 and he's just taking it as a limp there. So his intent, as per Vineet, what he just said was to raise there, but it's just being taken in as a call. We have Sanjay. I hope I'm not butchering his name on the stream. Who also comes in from the small blind, and easy check for Mr. Thakur.
So, check.
8-9-5 board. 7-8 in a good, pretty decent shape. 9 with the top pair.
Check round. So, check.
An ace is going to most likely favor Vineet here because his intent was to be the pre-flop aggressor by raising. Unfortunately, he had to settle down for just a limp. Now the question is whether he's going to start representing that ace on the turn, and he does.
Definitely.
Fold. 1200 to call.
He's gonna get a bit of resistance from our new player sitting in the small blind with 8-7.
1200.
Makes the call.
से पैसे तो कल से बैठा ही उधर
Call.
नींद भी इधर से भी है
3-way.
Gets Anand on the big blind to also call in. Another ace now.
Check.
Not if you have a set out there. It ain't no break then.
Check.
It's checked around back to Vineet. Is he going to represent something here? He
4,000
does put in a big bet of 4,000.
4000 to call.
Now does Sanjay want to call this 4,000? No, he does not. He lets that pass. Anand Thakur with a very hefty chip stack.
Is Thakurji gonna make this call or not? I think when the ace repeats on the river, it just Vineet lose a little bit of credibility that he has an ace because there's already 2 aces down there. So it's a 50-50 decision here, Prajit.
Yeah, and Anand fully giving it a thought because it's a very legit decision that he has to take.
Call 4000.
And he does make the call. And he sees the good news, and that's just a King Jack there on the 9 pair with the aces wins. And with that, he moves up to 107,000. Anand really showing his ability to play some solid poker.
ये क्या ले रहे हो
It's really hard to bluff our Thakurji. we see Minisha throw one more trouble for our organizers, saying the lights are too bright for her.
कितना डालना डाल
On our screens, we see Ritvik Khanna. I believe that is
And
Ankit
Vadhavan, yes.
Dhawan. I think,
There we see Kanishka on that table sipping on his water.
Rishabh Malik sitting next to him, and Sanat Malhotra. There are also cash games running in the background, as you can see. The floor managing the cash tables.
Fold. Fold. Yes. highest 1200. 1200 to call.
Much better. Much better.
We have Vineet raising it up again.
Fold. Fold.
Vivek with his pocket sevens, he's already hit a set of sixes. Just makes the call again, trying to hit a seven now.
Can he hit a set one more time?
Can we see an ace 10-7 board? It'll be a sick board if it's that one.
Oh, well, talk about a sick flop, Rajat.
I mean, I don't even know what's up here.
1000 bet.
And he's having somebody else bet into
Call
him.
1000.
I think he's trying really, really hard to save his face, to
Set down.
not give any, to not give like how strong he is right now.
And he is obviously going to bet on the river to get some value.
4000 bet.
Decides to go for
So an ace
around-
high would want to sometimes call on this board. Jack 7-7-6-6.